How important do you think a knowledge panel is and having a KGMID in Google? Like, now we're moving into the age of AI and stuff like that, and being a known entity, how important do you think it will be to have a knowledge panel?
Google can see that you are a real business and you really are there and you've got reviews and you've got all of those kind of trust signals. It would be one of the first parts of the process. And
Yours is a much more fun story than mine.
but I was impulsive, getting frustrated, and I'm going in two-footed and fucking it all up.
Triggering knowledge panels in Google search. Today I'm joined with Craig Campbell, who's done some very interesting things to trigger a knowledge panel. We've both for many years wanted to work on triggering it. We both succeeded. We both improved it quite a lot. So let's dig straight into yourself and some of the stories of what you've done and what you've done wrong as well over the years. And there's been plenty of those.
Yeah.
That you did to try and trigger knowledge panels.
So obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, knowledge panel, it's a source of trust from Google as well. There's a bit of ego involved in it as well. We all want to Google our name and see all the photos and all the other stuff there as well. So there's a bit of ego in it. So, you know, you see someone having it and you're going, I want one of those motherfuckers. So with the mentality I've got, I didn't care who I ran over or whatever. So obviously, the biggest thing for me is I also had, or still have, a famous singer and a famous comedian with the same name. So when you Google Craig Campbell, this fucking singer guy comes up. I'm like, man,
I always try and boost that singer to annoy you.
Yeah, you probably do, you bastard. Slightly tougher for me, you know, if you've got an obscure name, it's probably slightly easier to trigger. But I wanted it regardless, and went down the rabbit hole probably 7-8 years ago trying to do that, and I lost 4 or 5 knowledge panels along the way. So one of the first steps that I'd done that resulted in failure was I got the guy to trigger the knowledge panel, paid the guy to do it. You know, he basically done whatever he does, and paid him to update Wikidata, which is an important trusted source of information. So he does that, my knowledge panel triggers, and it's got Craig Campbell, and I think it had my date of birth. That was it. There was no picture, no fuck all else. But claimed the profile, done all that kind of stuff, started, you know, leaving the feedback and, you know, putting in, here's my social medias, here's this, here's that. And I'm looking at this wiki data, and naively, and there's an important part to learn from this, naively, I wasn't happy with the Wikidata profile because it only had the basics on there. Like, why has he not fucking added my social media on there? Why has he not done this? Why has he not done that? So I went, fuck it, lazy bastard. I've logged into Wikidata, my own email address and all that. Went in, added all the fucking shit, and boom, the fucking knowledge panel disappears. I message guy, I'm like, fucking robbing bastard. I says, fuck have you fucking dodgy bastard. I want a fucking refund. What the fuck are you doing? So he's went away and reversed engineered what's went on. And he's like, did you edit your own profile? And I went, yeah. I says, why not? It's fucking me. I had to fill out with more information. I went, no, that's why you've been taken down. Like, you cannot edit your own Wikidata profile. And I've done that multiple times, but like you, just an impulsive guy. I'm going, right, I've got my profile now, I can just fucking wade in and edit it.
If the guy that created that Wikidata for you, if he had added in all those socials, would they have stuck? So or you only meant to do so much
You're only
at a
meant to
time?
do so much at a time. So he started off with the bare basics and triggered the fucking thing, but he didn't fucking tell me, don't edit it yourself and come back to me in 3 months or 6 months or whatever the times are, and we'll add a little bit here and a little bit there. So that's where I was impulsive, getting frustrated, and I'm going in two-footed and fucking it all up. So lost a couple of knowledge panels by doing that, and I didn't really understand what was happening, but I'm like, mate, you're a robbing bastard. And he's like, no, you are editing your own profile, and that is not allowed. Same with Wikipedia and all that kind of stuff. You cannot be doing stuff for yourself or whatever. You need to get a trusted third-party account that's got all this history of doing good things for the internet to do that. So that was one little thing, mistake that I made along the way. And that will probably save you a year or two worth of pain and torture, just that one little tip. But obviously, following on from that, it's not just about Wikidata. There's all of the other entities, your Crunchbases, your LinkedIn's, and all of those kind of little wikis. Wiki Genius, I think, is the latest one that's out there, which I know you were on that now and stuff like that. So getting all of those kind of things were important as well. But from there, when I got the first two banned, and I was struggling to get the third or the fourth or whatever it was, I was struggling to get it to trigger. And I'm looking at Jason Bernard's Calicube thing, and it tells you all the entities. You've got to be on Wikipedia, you've got to be on this, you've got to be on that, Crunchbase, all of that. These are all coming from Bernard, or Bernard's tool, Amazon and all that. I've done the Amazon author bullshit and all that stuff. But the one that was there that I didn't have was the IMDb. Now, this came at a time, bear in mind this was 6-7 years ago. This was at a time where, podcasts and all that weren't really a thing, and you couldn't just go on there and do it all. So I'm looking at IMDb and I'm going, the fuck am I going to get on that bastard? And I Googled my name, I put my name into it, and so lo and behold, there was a Craig Campbell who had been in a porn flick in 2009, but hadn't claimed his profile. So I just clicked claim profile, and it said, can you upload your passport and whatever? So I've uploaded the passport, and it went, boom, you're verified, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, fucking hell, that was easy. So I've stuck my face on there, fucking edited all the stuff. Craig's a SEO guy, businessman, and actor, and all that fucking stuff.
And a porn star.
And the porn star was at the bottom. Aye. So obviously that happened, and the knowledge panel triggered. Everything was going well. 3 months later, I got a message on Facebook. Hi, Craig, are you an actor? And I'm like, who's asking? And she said, oh, I'll tell you what it is. My husband's an actor with the same name as you, and your face is all over his IMDb. And I'm like, bear in mind, I'm 2 fucking years deep into this fucking crap, and I've bumped a couple already. I'm like, fuck this bitch, man. She's going to fuck my knowledge panel up. So I blocked her, just ignored it. But something was eating away at me inside going, this is as fake as shit. So it's only a matter of time before you get caught. So I went on, and there was other local TV programs and all that kind of stuff. They didn't know who the actor was, so it was like Boy B, just shitty guys in the background. So I went into a few of those local programs and said, that was me. Boy B was me. So on IMDb, which you now know, editing and all that, you can fucking literally bullshit on there. So I've said I've been in Hollyoaks, River City, and a few other local things. So on looking at my profile, you'd think the guy's a bit inexperienced actor. So another 3 months passes, and this guy messaged me and says, hi, Craig, are you an actor? And I'm like, oh, man, not this fucking carry on again. I went, what's up? And he said, listen, I'm a local film director. Do you want to be in this TV series? I've seen you on YouTube, and I think you've got the tattoos. I think you'd be a good fit for it. And I'm like, this is a fucking stitch up. So I said, come to my office. So he came down, and we're speaking about it, and I was like, listen, love you to come in and get involved. So I've done it, and I'm in. We actually filmed some of it in here, and I'm shaking hands. The guy's like, oh man, it's a privilege to work with you. Did you work in Hollyoaks and all that? Do you know so and so? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, my big mate, fucking Darren, from the nightclub down your way, showing pictures like, oh, me and Big Darren are fucking buddies. Big Darren from Hollyoaks. So I'm like, man, fucking these guys I've watched Hollyoaks for years, so they were buzzing like I'm fucking bullshitting. Anyway, done the acting and all that, and the guy's like, fucking, you done really well. Because I don't give a shit on camera. It doesn't matter whether I'm being recorded or not. I'm just the same. But it's like, man, I'd love you to be in the whole fucking thing. And I was telling him that I've got a boat and all that. And he's like, mate, we could fill him out in the boat and all that fucking. I'm like, so the guy's buzzing, and I end up in the whole fucking thing. And then obviously you've got the pictures, the footage, and everything else. And I went to that length to get that IMDb to corroborate that fake Craig Campbell profile into being a real one. And obviously I've been in several other things since, just for shits and giggles. I even filmed something a couple of weeks ago, Psycho Sex Dolls, which is a whole different beast. But I had the part in that as well. So it was just fun. But went down that rabbit hole, but it was all to get the IMDb link. And now you can literally go and be in a podcast and get your IMDb thing, but IMDb is still a trusted thing, and a lot of people are not doing it. And I know you're now, deep into the rabbit hole of fully understanding it through obviously years of testing and getting things right, and you're bollocked deep in the IMDb and everything else. So you can obviously do that now and, get IMDb Pro, so you don't need to go and do what I done again, jumping around in movies and fucking all that. I just found it fun to do that shit, and the other stuff, it wasn't as popular out there. But so IMDb,
Yours is a much more fun story than mine.
but dude, like, you could go and pay someone on Legit or Fiverr to get an IMDb fucking link and pretend you were a producer of a movie now, like, or presenter or whatever you wanted to put yourself on as. So obviously I done it the long-winded, the hard-working way, but it's a fun story. But as a business person, time is important, and I don't want to be doing all of that all of the time. It's too much fucking time and effort. I would do acting again and all that just for a laugh, but so I've done that, and some of these stories are quite interesting, just blagging your way in and seeing how far you can push it. And from there, I was even able to get an acting agent sign me up. All of this fucking bollocks, and had opportunities to do other TV and film work, which I've declined because there's not a lot of money in it unless you're, going to Hollywood and being in the new Star Wars or something. I'm sure there'd be a few quid in it. But
what on triggering knowledge panels? Tell us about the Wikipedia stuff that happened as well.
Oh, the Wikipedia stuff, man, fucking. There's a funny story behind that. So for years, again, always wanted the Wikipedia, just for my own ego, really. But obviously, we know it's all a kind of source of trust. And so tried for years, and I even on Upwork, I think it was 2015, and I put an ad up saying I need somebody to sort me out with a Wikipedia, and lots of people said, oh, I can do it. Anyway, people done it, kind of get whipped down and whatever, and my perception is that Wikipedia hate SEO people, because we always manipulate stuff, edit stuff and all that, and you're not noteworthy enough. You're supposed to be noteworthy to be on Wikipedia. So, Michael Owen should have a Wikipedia. He's a football legend. Fucking douchebags like us don't. We're just fucking SEO people. So, anyway, I was talking to a guy who was a Wikipedia editor at Brighton SEO. He's a friend of mine, and he done Wikipedia editing for about 12 years. Fucking one of the highest people up in there, like top moderator and all that stuff. All his mates were all in there, and he's like, Craig, I'm telling him a story. He went, I'll fucking sort you out Wikipedia. I'm the fucking main man and all that fucking stuff. I'm like, mate, if you could do it, you'd be an absolute legend. I'll pay you whatever you want, whatever. So he's went away and done it, and he's made the page. Do you like it, Craig? Blah blah blah. I said, I'm going to submit it now to the Wiki editors or whatever the process is, and he comes back and they're going, we're not sure about this to the guy. We're not sure about this. We think this is a kind of commercial thing, like try to promote this guy. And I went, no, this guy's a fucking SEO legend, and he deserves one and all that. And they said to me, you sure you want to proceed with this application? I went, yep, I can vouch for him. And they come back with a fucking screenshot of my Upwork asking for a Wikipedia. For a Wikipedia. I don't know how they done it, but he got fucking kicked off of being a moderator, lost his account because of that. And the guy's like, you motherfucker. He said, you never fucking told me you done that. I went, I fucking forgot I done that as well. Like, I stupidly done it in my own name. And since then, when I done the acting and that, I tried a couple other times, and a guy said to me, Craig, set it up in Portuguese with the acting thing. Don't mention SEO or none of that stuff. And I'm like, that's cool. So we done the Portugal one, stuck for about 3-4 months. And he said, right, what we'll now do is switch it to English. And do the English one as well, and hopefully that sticks, because the Portuguese one's there and all that stuff. As soon as the English one went up, the fucking two of them went down. And it there's a wee red thing at the top, and they leave a reason why they've taken it down. It said, complete SEO puffery, or some words to that. This guy's an SEO and all of this is all puffery. That was the word they used. And I'm like, you fucking charlatan. Somebody in there's got it in for me. But but yeah, so I fucking gave up in the end. But you can obviously pay guys to do it, but realistically, see if you're not noteworthy enough and you've not got the press and all that stuff to back it up, then you're not getting it. And I'll tell you another fun story. I had a wee guy, wee Bogdan, he's local to here, he's a Romanian guy, and he does a bit of podcast production and he dabbles in a bit of SEO and all that. And he was in the X Factor like 10 years ago, and we're in talking, and he's like, talking about knowledge panels, and I'm like, mate, fucking, he's been in every paper, every press, there's fucking videos on my YouTube in the X Factor and everything, like, I went, mate, you should be able to get a Wikipedia and a knowledge panel like that. And he did, he just joined the dots up together, and even getting a Wikipedia for him, because he was able to cite like 80 plus sources. Boom, no bother. But he is not worthy enough to get that. I'm not. And that's the thing. And if you don't replicate that or do good PR or whatever, you're not going to get that. You need to build your brand if you really want that Wikipedia page. So a lot of wasted money on that as well. So, and as much as my ego says I deserve one, I'm a big dog SEO or whatever my brain tells me, you're in a very niche market and you're a fucking nobody in the grand scheme of Wikipedia. So it's hard.
How important do you think a knowledge panel is and having a KGMID in Google? Like, now we're moving into the age of AI and stuff like that, and being a known entity, how important do you think it will be to have a knowledge panel?
I think more so now than it was previously. I think a lot of it was kind of ego chasing. But with AI, looking for trusted sources, and Google's constantly looking for corroboration of, if you say you're the top racehorse guy or whatever, prove it. Where's the press that says this? Where's the trusted other entities that say that this is true? And if that's not there, then you're fucked. The AI is not going to pick up. It's not going to trust it. Google are not going to trust it. So I think, in the age of AI now, doing things that is trusted and a signal for Google is obviously going to be a positive thing. And I think, the knowledge panel is certainly a sign of trust. You are not quite Wikipedia style famous as such, but certainly from a Google trust perspective, I think you've got to tick a lot of those boxes and join all of those dots together, and then they go, right, he deserves a knowledge panel, and here's his images, and here's his social medias and all that stuff. So I think it's like a tick of authority from that perspective. Do people really get a huge amount of traffic or anything like that from it? I wouldn't imagine you do. But I think the trust and authority is the big thing we're all trying to play into now. And, for feeding the LLMs and everything else, I think having that and stuff like that's important. So
there's obviously different types of knowledge panel. You've got like a book can have a knowledge panel.
Yeah.
A podcast can have one. Obviously, people like yourself, me, can have one. You can have a location one, which is a Google business profile, and a company can have one. Mm-hmm. How would you say, away from, let's say, Craig Campbell as being an individual and a person having one, how important do you think it is to have a knowledge panel for like a Google business profile or corporate knowledge panel for the business? If you was to invest into a company and they don't have one, would that be one of the first things you'd be trying to
Absolutely.
sell?
Yeah. I mean, so I've got one for me as a person, but I've also got one for Craig Campbell SEO, which is just a business profile with the reviews and, all of the other stuff. And I think, again, signalling that trust that you're a real fucking business is going to help with everything else that goes on, your GMB and everything else. So if Google can see that you are a real business and you really are there and you've got reviews and you've got all of those kind of trust signals, it would be one of the first parts of the process. And triggering a business one's a hell of a lot easier than all the crap that I had to go through and trying to trigger, with all of those entities. You can do a lot of that with kind of citations and everything else for a business. So it's a bit somewhat easier, but again, it's the trust thing from a Google perspective. And, even when I'd done that presentation in Manchester and stuff, I paid to get the Casbula Dash knowledge panel triggered, and we'd done a GMB and all that kind of stuff. And people say, why? These are things that Google trust. If if it's got a GMB, it's got a knowledge panel, has it got this, has it got that? But you've done part of that process as well with the Google Books under Casbula Dash and whatever else. So combining all of that is all part of what I would consider basic trust signals, for any business. And absolutely, if you come to me with a new business, these are the first things I'd be doing.
Yeah, for sure. Anyone who's watching this, do you have a knowledge panel? Do you have a KGMID? Do you even know how to check whether you've got one? Let us know whether you want us to take a deeper dive at some point into how to trigger them if you don't have one yet. I hope you like the episode on knowledge panels.